SAMRC, this movement is about compassion. It's about getting kids with 300 seizures a day their medicine. It's about stopping the mass slaughter in Mexico from the cartels. It's about cultivating hemp so we can use it for paper while we end deforestation. This is a movement that affects nearly all parts of life.
Hey guys, it's Veronica Gabriel, and this is Get to Know Your RSO. Today I'm here with Sam Cavins, president of SAMRC. So how are you today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm great. So tell me a little bit about what SAMRC is.
Well, SAMRC is the Student Advocates for Medical and Responsible Use of Cannabis, and we work to create an environment on CMU's campus that promotes a new perception of cannabis. And how we do that, we educate students of the medical value of cannabis while dispelling the propaganda that's been spread in the past 80 years.
So you guys have meetings every week or every other week?
Yep, we have meetings every week on Wednesdays in More 105.
Oh, how many members do you have so far?
Well, members pay dues throughout the year, so that will change, but we have around 30 to 50 people show up every week.
Wow, that's a good turnout.
Yep, we appreciate it.
So you're the president. How did you get this role? Why did you decide to join this organization?
Well, 2 years ago, my freshman year, I was approached by another student, Ian Elliott, and he wanted to start a cannabis club. And he kind of explained the dynamics of it, and I was on board. We got 5 students to make an e-board, and we had our first meeting, and the rest is history.
So during your meetings, what type of things do you guys talk about?
Well, each month we have a general meeting, a documentary, a discussion, and a speaker. In the general meetings, we usually go over the news, we gather, we plan, and the rest, it's really about exposing our members to more information and education.
So what are you guys doing out here in the library?
Currently, we're working at a table, educating the general public on a lot of the myths and medical benefits and current political status of the cannabis movement. And one of the biggest things we're pushing today is the MI Legalize petition, which, in comparison to a lot of other petitions, keeps it really free market-based, open, protects a lot of the current growers, really keeps it to a nice civil, respectable level, and a lot of the stipulations are a good median between a lot of like the big business factors that some of the petitions are pushing or some of the less structured ones. So we're just trying to get people to become part of the movement.
So you're getting students' attention to sign this petition to get something on the ballot. Is that what's happening? Okay.
Yes. If we gather 250,000 signatures with this petition, it will be on the 2016 ballot for the state of Michigan.
Oh, wow. You think that you got that many already today?
Not today, but it's spread out through across the state. So there's a lot of people that are pushing this petition, and I'm pretty confident we'll have the signatures we're looking for.
Why did you decide to join this organization?
Well, I'm a recreational user. I'm not a patient, but I know a lot of patients, and this organization, more of a community. There's a lot of people that are involved in the industry. There's a lot of people that are patients. There's a lot of people that are just outsiders that they don't use particularly, but they come to learn more about what cannabis is and how the industry could really benefit Michigan as well.
What do you kind of tell them when someone comes to you and asks about the organization, or what kind of advice you could give them?
Really, we're just ordinary people, and we like to advocate, celebrate, and educate other people about, how cannabis helps us. And, if you can come in and offer a little piece of information, it's awesome too. Everybody learns from each other. We're a culture. We got to start somewhere. So.
I mean, a lot of people just come up and, they'd see our logo and see student advocates, and it's just sort of part of, the idea of being part of the movement. A lot of people, it's not even really hard to convince them to be a part of it. You just educate them and tell them what we're about, and they just want to hop on and be part of the cause.
So earlier we saw that you guys had a table at the library. What type of things were you trying to educate students about?
Well, we table once a week, which is really unheard of for any RSO, and we have our very passionate member base to thank for that. And we just like to start conversations with students about cannabis. Some you can tell they're interested, some are a little intimidated, but the big thing for us is actually starting a conversation and really that's how you learn.
So you were trying to get signatures for something to be put on the ballot. Can you talk more about what that was about?
Yeah, we are pushing a campaign this year, My Legalize, and it is a ballot initiative that would legalize cannabis in 2016. It's very similar to Colorado's bill that went through in 2012. It would legalize cannabis for all adults over 21, and it would put a 7% excise tax on recreational cannabis, which would go 40% to public education, 40% to Michigan roads, and 20% to local governments. And a big thing about this bill that we like is the medical patients will not be taxed. So the people that actually need it for their health won't have to pay the tax, but the recreational use will produce huge gains for Michigan, and that's really how you get money in the Michigan economy. You don't cut programs, you make revenue.
So how do you address the fact that some people might not understand what your organization is about?
Well, SAMRC, the cannabis movement as a whole, is not about getting high, and that's a huge misconception. SAMRC, this movement, is about compassion. It's about getting kids with 300 seizures a day their medicine. It's about stopping the mass slaughter in Mexico from the cartels. It's about cultivating hemp so we can use it for paper while we end deforestation. This is a movement that affects nearly all parts of life.
So you mentioned hemp in your last answer. Did you want to tell us a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, hemp is a non-psychoactive variety of cannabis. So that means it has very low THC in it, not enough to get you high. And it is legal to import and export, but it's not legal to grow here because growing hemp is technically growing cannabis. And hemp can be used to make clothing, it can be used to make paper, and it can be used to make roads. And unlike trees, which take 40 years to grow, while depleting the nutrients, hemp takes 9 months to grow, and it actually enriches the soil. So not only does it not take as long to grow, but it makes the soil better rather than destroying it. And if we grew hemp, we would be able to stop cutting down trees in the rainforest and all over the world. It would be a much more effective means for paper and a whole lot of other things.
So this would be kind of one of the things that you would talk about during your meetings and try to get more people educated about? Absolutely.
Hemp is something we bring up a lot during tabling because for the people that aren't about cannabis with THC in it, that don't believe in that, they often believe in the environmental issue of hemp and how it can help society as a whole. For our meetings, we're actually going to have a discussion on hemp. We're going to dedicate a whole meeting to that because, like I said, this group is not about getting high. It covers a much larger spectrum of issues than people realize.
So, lastly, how can students join your organization?
Well, we meet on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. in Moore 105, so you can check us out there. And to become a member, you just got to pay $20 dues, and that comes with an awesome T-shirt that you will get. And really, it's a fun group to be a part of, and not only will you meet some awesome people, but you can actually become politically active and make a difference.
That's great. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us. Thank you, Dan. Look out for more from us on Get to Know Your RSO.